Greetings all, it's the Devious Monkey here. What I wanted to talk about today is the newest hobby that I've taken on, but it's a subset of other new hobbies. So for instance, I have decided that I spend way too much time doom scrolling and I don't like it, but when I go on the internet, I go on the internet for fun, for happiness, for joy, for discovery. I like going to photo sites like Instagram used to be, where I could just look at pictures that people have taken, and I enjoyed that. I decided that I was going to start doing something that wasn't digital. That being said, I have shown you before that I've been journaling. Like every day, I have a certain set of things that I keep track of that I want to see my progress or lack of progress on to sort of keep me going forward and up. So I started doing that. I also have always kept a small notepad with me where I just write down shit that I need. I shouldn't say I always have one with me, because when I don't have something with me, that's why I end up having to go to Target and Trader Joe's and shit like that every day, because I keep forgetting stuff. So I got back into the habit of carrying a small notepad. Now, here's where the problem lies. So I also started like a sketch pad, because when I was younger, like junior high school and before, I used to draw a lot, and I never shared it with anybody. It was just for me. And I am not good at like imagining something and drawing it, but I'm good at seeing something and replicating it. And it was always fun for me to see how close I could get it and if I could put my own little spin on it and stuff like that. And I used to do it all the time, and then I stopped. It just for one reason or another. Well, I decided that, you know what, instead of sitting at Three Ships and doom scrolling and having all this violent shit come across my Instagram feed, why don't I just sit there and doodle, sketch something, you know, and I can have it with me at all times. So yeah, I started doing that. I have ordered like leather covers for everything, and I've gone through a couple of iterations of stuff that didn't quite work out, but I have the sketch pad. That one is with me all the time in my man purse. I have my small little notepad thing that I carry in my pocket all the time, and the final thing was the actual journal cover, and I had that custom made for me by somebody in Ukraine off of Etsy, and it's shipped. I still don't know when I'm going to get it. It's been a while, because like you put in what you want and how you want it made and the color and, you know, all the little, you know, fine little details of what you want, and then they make it. Once they make it, then they ship it. Shipping takes a long time. It is coming from Ukraine, so I'll get that eventually. Here's where we get into the whole new subset of the new hobby within that. I don't even want to call it a hobby, but of my day-to-day of journaling and notepadding and all that kind of stuff. And that is, I just said it, notepadding. I have had a difficult time finding the correct notepads for what I want. And I have tried the Lockbee stuff, which I have several of. I bought a bunch of those. Those worked when I had them in the Lockbee thing, but the Lockbee thing I didn't like very much. It was awkward, and it just attracts dirt. It gets into all that like nylon or whatever the hell it is, and it looks filthy, and I didn't like it. So that's why I got all these custom-made leather ones, a little bit more my speed. But I still have all the notepads. Then I thought, well, how do I, you know, like I can't keep buying these Lockbee things. They're kind of pricey. So I started down the rabbit hole on the internet, and I found these black ones with the white dot grid paper on the inside, and I kind of messed up. I didn't think of how many it would be until the box showed up, and I went to pick it up. I was like, holy shit. I opened it up, I bought 100 of them. So they're sitting over here in the corner. I have 100 of those black notepads that I will be using for like going forward, like the journaling and the sketch pads and this, that, and the other thing. And then I was trying to find the small ones. Well, I bought a leather cover off of Etsy, and I didn't like it. It was basically just a flappy piece of leather that was folded over, and it had an elastic through it so you could put the notepad in it. And it was bigger than the notepad. It was flimsy. It kept folding over. It didn't have a pen loop on it, but it wasn't working for me. I found this notepad, and I was like, okay, that actually looks like it might be perfect. It was. It is absolutely perfect. So my small little notepad is perfect. It folds over. It has purchase. Like it actually is stiff enough, but not so stiff that it's like a hardcover book. It has little pockets inside of it so I can jam receipts or cards or whatever I want into it, and it has a pen loop, and it fits perfectly. it fits perfectly with the pads that the company sells, which are an odd size. So when I tried to put the little black notepads that I bought a bunch of into it, they're too big. Normal mini tablet pads like that are 3.5 by 5.5. This thing is 3-ish by 5.5. So it extends out over the end. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So I started looking for those online and I couldn't find them. The only thing that was close to that size was a spiral notepad, and I didn't want a spiral notepad. So I ended up taking like 3 or 4 of them down into my garage, and I measured over how far it needed to be, and I used a utility knife and I sliced the end of it off. Temporary solution, but okay. And then I thought to myself, you know, when I'm looking at it, I'm like, this couldn't be that difficult to make. There's got to be some way that I can do this myself. Segue into, I found bookbinding kits on Amazon, and I found this kit. I purchased it. It has a little wooden box that comes down into the shape of a V, and then you push the wooden piece down onto it. And this is after you fold the paper and you jam the fold down into the thing and push it up against the end, shove the thing down, and now it's got preset holes. And then you have an awl, and you stick the awl down through the preset holes, and it punches through the paper. Then it comes with needles, and it came with some, but I had to get more, waxed thread. And then you basically sew a pattern into the holes and stitch it together. I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna have to have a paper cutter. I'm not cutting all this fucking paper out with a pair of scissors. That's gonna suck. So I bought a paper cutter at Michael's. It was a Fisker's, like guillotine, like the blade comes down and cuts, not a rotary cutter, no extra big scissors and that shit. And I thought this will be perfect. It can cut up to 15 sheets at a time. Nope. Thing was a piece of shit. It didn't cut through the paper. I only used 10 sheets, and it would cut to a certain point and then it would stop and it would not cut. It was hard to hold the paper down and keep it lined up. So now, because it didn't cut all the way through, I had to lift the blade up, slide the paper forward. Now it's all jacked up because the blade pushed it and it sort of fanned out, and I was trying to push it back together. So it doesn't look like it cut the paper, it looks like it chewed the paper. And I was like, okay, this thing's garbage. So I took it back. Holy shit, there are so many freaking paper cutters in the world in existence. And I was on Amazon looking for hours. And I would see one that, I always go for ones that have like several thousand feedback, because then you get a good cross representation of the reality of like, all right, this one's decent or this one's a piece of shit. So ultimately I knew I had to make a decision, because you're never gonna get one that has 100% positive feedback. And I ended up picking one, and I bought it, and it was supposed to be delivered yesterday. Well, of course, they frickin' didn't try to deliver it until an hour after the UPS store closed. They don't redeliver on Sundays, and they're not going to deliver it tomorrow because tomorrow's Memorial Day. So yeah, that's the new hobby. And it's not only just a hobby, it is going to save me money in the long run, and then I could just make new notepads whenever I need one, because I'm going to go through them. And that's what I've been up to. All right, there's your data dump. Just wanted to go through all that and show you everything and explain what's going on and so on and so forth. And I just wanted to set up the studio because I like the way it looks. So that's it. That's all you get. As if that's not enough. So if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, leave them down below. As always, thanks for joining me. Be sure to like and subscribe. And remember, kids, forward and up.